There is this incredibly persistent, almost like universally held delusion that men carry with them when they travel.
A delusion? Like what kind of delusion?
Like they pack their bags, they grab their passports, and they board a flight to Southeast Asia, right? And they touch down, the suffocating humidity hits them, the neon lights of walking streets start
The
flashing.
whole sensory overload thing?
Exactly. And they genuinely believe deep down in their core that they are the hunter. Like they think they're stepping into the wild armed with their foreign currency and their vacation swagger, ready to just conquer the nightlife.
Okay, I think we need to pump the brakes right out of the gate here.
Go ahead.
If we look at this from a basic logical standpoint, like standard Western dating logic, if you will, the man who travels all the way there is the one exerting the power.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, listen. He has the ultimate agency in this scenario.
Yeah.
He bought the plane ticket, he holds the wallet, and ultimately, he's the one making the active choices about where he goes, which venue he enters,
You are so...
and who he interacts with. A lot of guys traveling might just be looking for genuine human connection, like a bit of romance disguised in a party atmosphere.
Right, romance, sure.
So to call these men like prey feels like a massive exaggeration of what is fundamentally just a lively, service-based tourist economy.
Man, that right there, that is exactly the naive rom-com perspective that gets guys absolutely slaughtered in this environment.
Slaughtered? Come on.
I'm serious. You're applying this, safe Western dating paradigm to a hyper-optimized extraction machine. You think this is a movie where the guy with the wallet is the director.
Well, money does dictate the interaction.
Let me shut that down right now with the raw reality from the source material we're diving into today. This underground expat guide we're looking at. It completely shatters that fantasy.
Okay, but how? Explain the mechanics of that.
These women you're talking about, the ones you think want to share a sunset with some tourist, they have rent due in their home villages, okay? They are operating with smiles sharper than switchblades.
That's a bit dark, don't you think?
It's the truth. They have been finessing dudes who walk in with your exact mindset since before Tinder even existed. You think a guy looking for genuine connection holds the power just because he has a few baht in his pocket? Please.
But you simply cannot deny the baseline financial dynamic. Money dictates the flow of the interaction. If he doesn't spend, the interaction ends. Therefore, he controls it.
The money is the bait, and the guy holding it is the fish who thinks he's a fisherman. Listen to me very closely, and I'm talking directly to you, the listener, right now.
The listener is probably as skeptical as I am.
Good. They should listen harder then. Whether you're a fresh-faced rookie stepping off the plane, or some veteran who thinks you have game because you can pick up a girl at a local dive bar back in Ohio, you need to take notes.
Because the rules are just that different.
Because if you try to apply your standard Western morals, your polite, organic dating logic, or your belief in genuine connection in Pattaya, you are going to get played so hard your head will literally spin.
It just sounds incredibly cynical, honestly. To frame an entire city's nightlife as this predatory, inescapable trap, you're stripping away the autonomy of the men and, quite frankly, the humanity of the women.
It's not cynical, it's mechanical. It is a highly efficient, perfectly tuned system. And frankly, if you want to actually learn real game, if you want to understand the deep psychological tactics and the raw techniques required to meet women anywhere in the world.
Without getting, as you say, slaughtered.
Exactly. To hold your frame and avoid getting completely finessed by these kinds of manipulative systems, you need to check out seductionvault.com.
Okay, seductionvault.com. Got it.
Yeah, because what they teach over there is exactly the kind of bulletproof psychological mindset you need to survive, not just in a place like Pattaya, but in literally any highly competitive dating market on the planet.
So what is the actual mission of this deep dive today? Are we just dissecting a tourist trap, or is there a broader psychological lesson here?
Oh, we are going way deeper than just pointing at a tourist trap. Our mission today is to completely dismantle this illusion of choice.
The illusion of choice. Okay.
We're going to break down exactly who holds the power in this city's oldest hustle, examine the psychological warfare happening over cheap drinks, and ultimately teach you the 6 rules of what the source brilliantly calls the smart degenerate.
The smart degenerate. Wow. Well, if we're going to analyze this expat guide objectively, we have to start with that core premise you just mentioned, the illusion of choice.
Let's do it.
The text uses a very specific and frankly quite condescending metaphor for this. It
Yeah.
says these guys walk in thinking they're strolling into a candy shop with a pocket full of dreams.
Bro, it is the perfect metaphor. The guy walks in, the neon lights are buzzing, the music is thumping, and he thinks he's the kid in the candy shop.
Right, looking at all the options.
Yeah. He's looking at a lineup of 30 different women. He's got his vacation cash burning a hole in his pocket, and he genuinely believes he is deciding what flavor he wants tonight.
Which logically makes sense to him.
But the brutal, unvarnished reality laid out in this text is that the guy is not the kid. The guy is the candy.
I still struggle with this inversion of the power dynamic. I really do. In any basic economic model, the man is the patron.
You're stuck on the economics.
Because it is an economy. He literally walks through the door, he has the purchasing power, and he dictates who he talks to, what drinks he buys, and what happens next.
Wrong. Completely wrong.
How is it wrong? The consumer holds the ultimate choice. If he doesn't like the environment, he can simply pivot and leave. How on earth is he the candy if he's the one actively doing the buying?
Because you are completely misinterpreting what is actually being bought and sold, and you are vastly underestimating the terrifying speed at which this transaction is processed.
Speed? What do you mean by speed?
You think the guy is making active, conscious choices. Let's break down the exact timeline from the source, and I want you to picture this. The absolute second a guy steps his foot through that neon-lit doorway,
Okay, he walks in.
the women in that lineup are sizing him up faster than the strictest airport immigration officer on the planet. They aren't waiting for him to speak.
So it's an immediate visual assessment.
They aren't waiting to see if he has a charming personality. They are running a full biometric and financial scan in fractions of a second.
A biometric scan. Wait, what exactly are they looking for? We're talking about basic physical attraction and symmetry,
Yeah.
which is standard in any human mating ritual?
Forget physical symmetry. They do not care if his jawline is chiseled or if he has a dad bod. That's Western dating logic again.
So what are they looking at?
They are clocking his shoes. Are they worn-out, sensible walking sneakers, or are they high-end designer loafers? They're clocking his wallet.
You can't always see a wallet.
They look for the visible bulge in his front pocket, or if he's nervously clutching a few crumpled, low-denomination bills in his hand. They are analyzing his posture and his smile
Let's see if he's friendly.
to see if it's relaxed and confident, or if it's that dumb, wide-eyed, overwhelmed tourist grin that screams, "I haven't talked to a beautiful woman in 6 months."
Oh my God.
They're even watching exactly how he holds his goddamn drink.
How he holds his drink. That's insane.
It's data. Does he nurse a single, warm, local beer like he's terrified of the tab? Or does he immediately wave for a premium round? In a matter of 2 to 3 seconds, they have categorized him into one of 4 boxes.
Which are?
Broke, drunk, married, or desperate. And the jackpot, by the way, is usually a guy who is all 4.
So you're arguing that the assessment is purely clinical. It's a rapid risk-reward calculation done before he even manages to reach a bar stool.
It is a masterclass in customer psychology, wrapped in a cocktail dress. And here is where what the guide calls the claim happens.
The claim. Walk me through that.
You think you're choosing her because you bravely walked up to her? Wrong. She made eye contact first.
Yeah.
She flashed a highly calibrated, perfectly timed smile.
Right, acknowledging his presence.
And she held that smile just long enough for your pathetic evolutionary lizard brain to completely short-circuit.
Let's unpack the lizard brain comment.
Right.
What's actually happening there is she's triggering a manufactured biological response.
Exactly.
She is intentionally initiating a dopamine hit in the man's brain. The sudden, intoxicating feeling of being desired. To initiate the interaction without him realizing he's being steered.
Boom. Your brain gets that dopamine spike and you think, wow, she thinks I'm cute. I've still got it.
Right, the ego validation.
No, you don't have it. She thinks you are a vulnerable mark. And before the guy can even, stutter out a hello, comes the physical anchor.
Like physical anchor. You mean touching him?
She reaches out and puts her hand on his arm or his thigh. This is a crucial, non-negotiable detail in the source guide. It is a harsh, uncompromising truth that every guy needs to hear.
Which is?
You didn't pull her. She just staked territory. You are not her date for the evening. You are simply a paycheck with a pulse.
Oh.
That physical touch isn't a sign of budding affection. It is a literal claim tag.
That is fascinating from a purely sociological perspective. That single touch acts as a nonverbal broadcast to the rest of the environment.
100%.
If we view the bar as a closed, highly competitive ecosystem, that arm grab is essentially a signal to every other woman in the room, isn't it?
It is a massive, bar-wide flare going up into the night sky. The second her hand rests on his arm, the signal is broadcasted loud and clear across the booming music. This guy is off the market. He is mine.
Right, marking her territory.
And by mine, she absolutely does not mean she wants to take him home to meet her parents.
I assume not.
She means she has secured the exclusive rights to extract funds from him until he either stops buying drinks, completely runs out of cash, or someone wealthier walks through the door.
And then what?
At which point she will drop him like a bad habit without a second thought.
I have to admit, hearing the mechanics of it described so clinically, it sounds incredibly predatory.
Welcome to the real world.
No, but it strips away all the warmth and humanity from the interaction and reduces it to something almost parasitic. It's quite horrifying if you consider the genuine emotional investment the man might be bringing into the venue.
Horrifying.
Yes. He thinks he's having a magical vacation romance, and he's actually just being processed, like livestock.
I am laughing right now because the source guide delivers an absolute undeniable gut punch to exactly that kind of soft, sentimental sentiment you just shared.
What does it say?
You're horrified by the transactional nature. The guide literally says the guy is the prize pig in a room full of butchers. That is the unvarnished reality.
Prize pig. Jesus.
You walk in thinking you're a player, a smooth operator navigating the exotic nightlife, but you are just livestock. The only difference is that these butchers smile sweetly and stroke your ego while they systematically carve up your wallet and your dignity.
That's sad.
You are entirely enveloped in this carefully constructed illusion of choice, and you are losing the game before you've even taken your first sip of your drink.
Okay, assuming the psychological setup is that rigged against the consumer, how does the physical environment actually support it?
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Because a bar is inherently a chaotic space.
Right.
Right. You have flashing lights, people moving unpredictably, alcohol flowing, loud music disrupting communication.
Yeah, standard nightlife stuff.
So how do they maintain this level of clinical extraction in a room that is, by definition, chaotic?
That is the perfect question, because we need to transition from the internal psychological traps to the external physical mechanics of the hustle.
Okay, lay it out.
The layout, the operations, and the invisible rules of these bars are specifically engineered to extract cash. It is absolutely not a free-for-all.
Right, because my baseline assumption would be that it operates like a normal Western nightclub back home.
Oh, sweet summer child.
No, seriously. You have a dance floor, you have a bar area, people mingle organically. If you see someone you like across the room, you walk over, strike up a conversation, maybe offer to buy them a drink.
Mingle organically.
It's fluid. It relies on mutual, spontaneous chemistry.
Organic mingling, fluidity, spontaneous chemistry. Throw all of those words completely out the window. Every single bar in this ecosystem has its own highly structured rotation system.
It's a rotation system.
And if you do not understand the invisible mechanics of it, you are going to be the clown getting played for every dime you have. The source breaks down two main systems that dictate the flow of the room.
Let's look at System A first. You usually find this in the more structured gentlemen's clubs or go-go's, right? Walk me through the mechanics of it.
It is essentially speed dating for degenerates, optimized for maximum turnover. It happens strictly one by one.
One by one. Okay.
A girl will walk up to a guy, smile, and maybe do that little wrist grab we talked about earlier. Now, the clueless guy might sit back and think, wow, I am the most popular guy in the room today.
Because he's getting approached directly.
Exactly. But she is fully prepared to be rejected. In fact, she expects it most of the time.
It's just a numbers game for her.
She is walking up to get a hard yes or a hard no as quickly as possible so she can either secure the bag or move on to the next mark. And the source emphasizes a massive non-negotiable golden rule here for the guys.
Which is?
If you aren't interested in the girl approaching you, you must reject her politely with a smile. You look her in the eye and say, no thank you, honey.
See, I need to push back on that.
Push back on being polite.
Yes. Why the extreme emphasis on being polite? If, as you've established, this is purely a ruthless business transaction where he is the mark, why does his demeanor or his level of politeness matter so much?
Oh, it matters.
But if a pushy salesperson approaches me on the street, I don't owe them a warm, smiling rejection. I just keep walking.
Because you cannot act like an arrogant junk in their house, and a bar in Pattaya operates like a hive mind.
A hive mind.
If you are rude, if you wave her off aggressively like she's a peasant, or if you act like you are somehow above the transaction, word spreads through that bar at the speed of light.
How? It's loud, they're working.
All the other girls are watching. You have to remember, they communicate constantly through microexpressions, subtle glances, and whispers that you will never catch.
So it's a networked environment.
100%. If you break the social contract of being a polite, respectful customer, you instantly become radioactive.
Radioactive meaning what exactly?
Meaning no one else will approach you, you will get terrible, agonizingly slow service from the waitstaff, and your night is effectively over before it even begins. You have disrupted the harmony of their workplace, and the hive will freeze you out.
Okay, so System A relies on orderly, sequential approaches, maintaining a polite social equilibrium even during rejection.
Exactly.
What is the alternative? Because the guide mentions System B, and that sounds significantly more overwhelming.
System B is pure, unadulterated psychological warfare. It is commonly known as the bell ring.
The bell ring.
1 minute you are sitting there, quietly sipping your drink, minding your own business, and suddenly a massive brass bell rings above the bar.
And what happens?
Instantly, within seconds, you are surrounded by a full lineup of women. You are completely enveloped in what the guide perfectly describes as a buffet of bad decisions.
That sounds explicitly designed to induce cognitive overload.
Oh, it absolutely is.
When a human brain is presented with too many choices simultaneously, especially in a loud, sensory-rich environment with flashing lights and alcohol, the prefrontal cortex, which handles logical, rational decision-making, essentially shuts down.
Great.
It's called choice paralysis.
Exactly. You're sitting there, completely overwhelmed, pretending to carefully think it through and make a rational choice, but your prefrontal cortex is offline.
So how does he choose?
Your biology picks for you before your brain can even process what is happening. You just point to the girl closest to you, or the one with the brightest smile, just to relieve the pressure of the moment.
That is incredibly manipulative.
And the entire overarching purpose of both these rotation systems, whether it's the slow drip of System A or the ambush of System B, is simple: momentum.
Keeping things moving.
Yeah. Nobody is allowed to sit too long without spending money. The girls keep rotating, the drinks keep flowing, and the bar's revenue graph stays climbing upward.
This level of coordination doesn't just happen naturally. There has to be a floor manager, someone orchestrating all of this, making sure the girls are moving, the marks are being pressured, and the drinks are being accurately tallied.
That brings us to the most dangerous, powerful player in the entire room.
The mama-san.
The mama-san. The source guide calls her the self-proclaimed queen of chaos. She is usually the older woman, hovering in the background or sitting at a specific vantage point, keeping a hawk-like, omniscient watch on the entire floor.
She's essentially the ruthless sales manager of the venue, tracking KPIs in real time.
She is a mafia boss in a cheap sequin dress, and she knows exactly who is buying what, which girl is slacking off and underperforming, and exactly which foreign guy has a fat wallet that hasn't been properly tapped yet.
So how's a guy supposed to deal with her?
The guide drops some highly tactical, boots-on-the-ground advice on this. If you want a smooth night, you do not ignore the mama-san.
You acknowledge her.
You buy her a drink, you toss her a little bit of respect, a polite greeting. Doing that opens invisible doors.
Like what kind of doors?
She will make sure your glass is never empty. She might quietly wave over the specific girl you actually want from across the room, and she will actively keep the overly aggressive, annoying girls away from your table.
Okay, so you recruit her.
But, and this is a massive, critical, but you can never, ever let her run your night.
Why the warning? If you've essentially bought her favor and tipped her, shouldn't she be working on your behalf? You've incentivized her to give you a good experience.
Because her fundamental job is not to be your friend or your wingman. Her job is to sell you a fantasy and completely drain your bank account by the end of the night.
So she's playing both sides.
If you let her get in your head, if you defer to her suggestions too often, she will upsell you into absolute oblivion.
Like bringing over more girls.
She will bring over her special girls. She will suggest premium tequila shots you didn't ask for, and before you know it, your tab is the size of a mortgage payment. You have to always remember that she is the grand architect of the illusion.
Okay, I hear what you're saying about the illusion, the mama-san, and the deeply transactional nature of the environment.
Good, you're tracking.
But surely there has to be a silver lining here.
What silver lining in Pattaya?
Yes, listen, human beings are incredibly complex creatures. Even in a highly commercialized transactional environment, genuine emotions can and do develop.
Oh boy, we're back to this.
For example, if a guy's sitting with a girl he's been buying drinks for, and he starts looking across the room at other women, and she gets jealous, Jealousy is a visceral, uncontrolled physiological emotion. If she gets genuinely angry, pouts, or acts possessive, doesn't that fundamentally prove she is developing real feelings for him?
You are so innocent.
You can't easily fake the physiological response of genuine jealousy.
I am going to deliver a reality check on that specific point so hard it might actually sting. Let's unpack why that specific Western logic actually sets a guy up to be completely drained of his resources.
Explain it to me then.
You think you were playing chess with these women. You think you were deeply analyzing their complex emotional states.
What?
She has been playing a high-stakes game of Go since she was 15 years old. You are moving tiny pieces on a tiny board. She's controlling the entire damn room.
But the jealousy.
That jealousy you think is so cute, that possessiveness you think, proves she has real, organic feelings for you. It is 100% entirely strategic.
I find that incredibly hard to believe. Jealousy is inherently irrational. It stems from deep-seated insecurity. How can an involuntary emotional reaction be entirely strategic?
Because you do not understand the deeply ingrained cultural concept of face in Thailand and how it violently clashes with rookie tourist behavior.
It's like social standing.
Exactly. Westerners think of jealousy as a screaming match in the middle of a bar, throwing a drink in someone's face. Thai girls do not compete publicly like that. They do not have loud, embarrassing arguments over a guy in the middle of a venue.
Because that would be losing face.
Yes. It is all about saving face, which the guide explicitly points out is the invisible engine that runs the entire social system. She will not physically or verbally fight another girl.
And what does she do?
Instead, she will smile, act incredibly sweet to you, pull you closer, and quietly, ruthlessly ensure that every other chick in that establishment knows you are completely, undeniably off limits.
So it's a form of soft power.
Exactly.
She's not acting out of emotional insecurity. She's securing her asset against rival claims.
Exactly. You nailed it. She is protecting her walking ATM from unauthorized withdrawals. You look at her pouting and think she's crazy with jealousy and deeply in love with you.
And she's actually just doing accounting.
She is looking at her projected nightly revenue stream and making damn sure nobody else taps into it. It is not a sudden bloom of romance. It is a highly calculated business defense mechanism.
If that's the case, what happens if a man fundamentally misreads this dynamic?
Oh, disaster.
Like if a guy assumes she's just being irrationally jealous and clingy, and he decides he wants to exercise his purchasing power and interact with someone else in the same venue, how does the system react?
That leads directly to the ultimate fatal rookie mistake. It is absolute social suicide in Pattaya. Let me paint this scenario for you.
Okay, paint it.
Let's say a guy picks a girl on a Tuesday. They spend the night. He pays for the agreed amount. It's a done deal. Transaction complete.
Right, contract fulfilled.
Wednesday rolls around. He walks back into the exact same bar, feeling like a local, and tries to pick up her friend who is standing 3 feet away.
Logically, in a free market, he should be perfectly able to do that. The previous transaction concluded. He is a free agent, and so are the women.
Logically, in your Western individualistic mind, maybe. But in the bar girl power game, that is the ultimate sin.
Really? Why?
You don't get an upgrade. You completely irrevocably tank your reputation. You lose all social credit instantly.
Because of the mama-san.
The mama-san will remember. The girl from Tuesday will lose face in front of her peers, which is unforgivable. The girls will start whispering, and suddenly you are completely invisible.
Wow.
You will be, as the source eloquently puts it, ignored into oblivion. You won't get a drink. You won't get a smile. You won't even get eye contact. You are dead to them.
Because he caused the first girl to lose face in front of her colleagues.
Yep.
He essentially embarrassed her in her own workplace, signaling to the group that she wasn't valuable enough to retain him, thereby disrupting the entire social hierarchy of the bar.
Exactly. You made her look weak and you disrupted the harmony of their workplace. You turned a financial transaction into a public humiliation.
So what's the fix? Does he apologize?
The fix for this is incredibly simple, but arrogant rookies always mess it up. If you want a different girl, do not cause drama. Do not try to explain yourself to the first girl.
Just avoid her.
You either disappear from that specific bar for a few days until the heat dies down, or you just go to one of the literally thousands of other bars in the city. Find a new playground before the gossip spreads.
It sounds like navigating a minefield blindfolded. You have to simultaneously understand the microsocial dynamics of the venue, the deep cultural concept of face, and the ruthless financial imperatives of the women, all while under the influence of alcohol and sensory overload.
It is an absolute minefield, and that is exactly why we need to talk about how to protect yourself globally.
Right, because this isn't just about Thailand.
Exactly. If you are tired of falling for fake jealousy, if you are exhausted by trying to navigate these incredibly complex social traps, and you actually want to control the frame in any venue, whether it's a neon-lit bar in Asia or a high-end club in London or Miami,
You need a strategy.
you need to arm yourself with the elite products at seductionvault.com. They teach you how to see the matrix.
I like that analogy, the Matrix.
It really is. They teach you how to instantly recognize these psychological power plays and how to maintain absolute emotional control in chaotic environments. Do not walk into a minefield without the map. Go to seductionvault.com and learn how to actually hold your own.
So we pivot from the fake emotions like strategic jealousy. I want to address the specific dating strategies men bring over from the West.
Let's tear them down.
Building off the idea of genuine connection, I still stubbornly insist that certain things are universal to human attraction.
Such as?
Being charming, making a woman laugh, building rapport, showing genuine interest in her life, asking her questions. These are the bedrock foundations of how human beings connect.
In a coffee shop in Seattle, maybe?
Surely those tactics work regardless of the geographic location. Charm is a universal language.
I am going to absolutely dismantle this logic right now because it is the exact logic that gets guys bankrupted. I want you to listen to this quote from the source guide, burn it into your brain, and never forget it.
Let's hear it.
Attraction wears fishnets and everything's for goddamn sale.
Okay, that's incredibly blunt.
Standard Western dating advice is completely, hopelessly, dangerously useless in this specific environment.
How can charm possibly be useless? Charm disarms people. It builds trust. It breaks down barriers.
Because charm is not currency here. You walk into a walking street bar trying to play it cool. You try to be clever. You try to be mysterious. You try to deploy that witty, sarcastic banter you use at the local Starbucks back in Ohio.
Yeah, what happens?
I'll tell you exactly what happens. She will laugh at your jokes. She will smile brightly. She will touch your arm and let you feel like you are the smoothest, most charismatic operator on the planet.
Okay, so it works.
And while you are patting yourself on the back for your incredible game, she's going to upsell the absolute shit out of you.
So you're saying she actively uses his desire to be charming against him. She weaponizes his ego to prolong the interaction and increase the tab.
Precisely. You sit there thinking you are building a deep emotional connection. You are over there asking about her dreams, her family back in Eisen, what her favorite color is. Do you know what her only goal is before midnight?
What?
Let me spell it out using the actual terminology of the environment. Her quota is 2 lady drinks, a bar fine, and a quick LT. That's it. That is the entire mission objective.
For the listener who might not be entrenched in this specific subculture, let's define those terms clearly. What exactly are those 3 things?
Good point. A lady drink is a massively marked up tiny beverage, sometimes just colored water that you buy for.
Water. Seriously.
Yeah. It acts as a direct commission. The bar takes a cut, she takes a cut. It's how she makes her baseline money sitting with you.
Okay, and a bar fine.
A bar fine is the literal fee you have to pay the mama-san to release the girl from her shift early so she can leave the venue with you. You are compensating the bar for their lost asset.
Got it. And an LT.
And an LT stands for a long time, meaning you are paying her to stay the night as opposed to a ST or short time.
Right, okay.
When you sit there engaging in all this emotional pillow talk and comfort building, trying to be a charming gentleman, you are doing nothing but stalling the invoice.
The clash here is fundamental and fascinating. The man is operating under a traditional dating paradigm, seeking validation and connection, while the woman is operating under a strictly commercial, high-turnover retail paradigm.
It's worse than that. She is not just operating in a different paradigm. She is actively exploiting his dating paradigm.
How so?
The source guide provides a brilliant section called The Dictionary of Lies, which is a rapid-fire translation guide for the clueless Westerner. Let me break down a few of these scenarios for you.
Let's do it. Translate them.
You tell a mildly funny joke, and she laughs hysterically, throwing her head back. You think she finds you hilarious.
That's the assumption, yes.
Translation. She is mentally calculating your bar tag and realizing you are comfortable enough to buy another round.
Because a laughing customer is a staying customer, and a staying customer buys more lady drinks.
Exactly. Next scenario. She leans in, traces a finger down your arm, looks at your slightly sunburned face, and calls you handsome.
You're saying she doesn't mean it.
You think your pre-vacation gym routine is finally paying off? Translation. She is lying through her teeth. She uses that exact word on 50 different guys a week to keep them engaged and feeling masculine.
Flattery is a baseline sales tactic, standard business practice in any high-end retail environment.
And the final, most devastating translation in the guide. She looks up at you with big, adoring eyes, grabs your hand, and calls you Papa.
Papa, you.
You feel this sudden surge of protective, masculine pride. You feel like the man of the house.
You guys actually fall for that?
Bro, they eat it up. Translation, congratulations, you have just been promoted to full sucker status. She owns you entirely.
Let's analyze the terminology there. Papa implies provision. It implies a paternal, caring dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a verbal acknowledgement that he is the one supplying the resources. It completely shifts the dynamic from equal partners on a romantic date to a dependent provider relationship, which is inherently, irreversibly financial. It is a brilliant psychological trap.
It is the ultimate trap, and guys fall into it by the thousands every single night. And this brings us to the core, undeniable lesson of this entire deep dive.
Which is?
You are negotiating. You are not dating.
Okay, that's a stark distinction.
If you want her attention, you buy a lady drink. If you want her time outside the bar, you pay the bar fine. You think you can win her over with your sparkling personality so she'll just come home with you for free.
Because you're so special.
Her soul is already leased out. It has been leased out 6 times this week alone to guys who thought they were just as charming and unique as you. You have to completely drop the ego. You have to leave the Western dating playbook at the airport terminal.
It seems the only way a man can survive this environment without being financially and emotionally drained is to completely abandon his desire for validation. He has to stop wanting to be liked for who he is, his humor, his intellect, his charm, and accept the cold reality that he is only valued for the capital he can provide in that specific moment. That requires a massive, almost painful psychological shift.
That is exactly right. That psychological shift is the exact dividing line that separates the prey from the players.
Free from the players.
So stop crying over the brutal truth, listener, because I'm not just going to leave you bleeding out here in the neon lights.
Good. Give us some solutions.
The source guide doesn't just outline the problem. It lays out an exact, ruthless, step-by-step playbook to outsmart the game and protect yourself. It is called the 6-step smart degenerate strategy.
The smart degenerate. Okay, I'm bracing myself for this. Walk me through the mechanics of the steps. How does a man actually execute this in real time?
Let's get into it. Step 1, don't be a thirsty loser.
Blunt.
The guide is incredibly explicit, almost aggressive about this point. When you walk into a venue, you absolutely cannot look like a starving dog staring at a steak through a butcher's window.
Meaning, don't look desperate.
You have to remember the fundamental truth. You hold the actual power in the room, which is the cash. You are the prize. You walk in slowly, you order your own drink, you sit down at a good vantage point, and you let them come to you.
But surely if you're suppressing your desire to engage, you're missing the point of being in a social venue. If you don't approach, nothing happens. Furthermore, telling guys, you are the prize, sounds incredibly ego-driven.
Here we go again.
It does. It sounds like something a deeply insecure teenager would say to puff out his chest in the mirror.
That is the exact trap you fall into. You think it's about ego, but it is entirely about necessary frame control and evolutionary psychology.
How is it evolutionary?
If you walk in looking desperate, darting your eyes around, leaning over the bar, trying to make eager eye contact with every single girl like you're begging for scraps of attention, you instantly broadcast low value.
So it's about signaling.
They smell that desperation like blood in the water. It signals that you are an easy mark who will pay anything just to be touched.
So playing hard to get, essentially.
Sitting back, looking relaxed, and letting them approach establishes that you are comfortable, you have options, you are not desperate, and most importantly, you dictate the pace of the interaction.
Okay, assuming he successfully suppresses his desperation and maintains that aloof posture, what happens when they do approach? What is step 2?
Step 2, reject with a smile. We covered the why of this briefly, but it is a core strategy for maintaining your frame.
Right, maintaining the social equilibrium.
Exactly. When a girl approaches and she isn't the one you want to spend money on, you look her in the eye and say, "No, thank you, honey." You do not flinch. You do not explain yourself. You do not apologize for turning her down.
Because showing guilt, hesitating, or over-explaining signals a vulnerability to the other women watching.
Yes.
It shows you can be manipulated by social pressure. If you feel bad about saying no, you could be pressured into saying yes.
Exactly. You hold the line politely but firmly, maintaining the social equilibrium of the bar without surrendering your wallet. Moving on to step 3, read the damn room. Before you make a move, before you buy a single lady drink, you have to clock the operational vibe of the bar.
Situational awareness.
This requires deep situational awareness. Is it a slow rotation where girls are approaching one by one? Is there a lineup bell about to ring and cause a stampede?
Or what is the mama-san doing?
Exactly. Is the mama-san running a chaotic floor or a tight ship? You have to take your focus off the women momentarily to analyze the environment so you can adapt your strategy and not look like a pathetic, confused tourist.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
You're shifting from being a passive consumer to an active observer of the retail environment.
Yeah.
You have to understand the rules of the specific venue before you play. What is step 4?
Step 4, pick with a purpose.
Okay.
When you finally see the girl you want, you make strong, unapologetic eye contact and you motion her over. And the guide stresses this violently.
What?
When she sits down, do not start asking her name or where she is from or what her favorite movie is. You are swiping on a dating app.
You don't even ask her name.
You are not on a date. As the guide brutally puts it, you are choosing a drink with legs. You have to own that reality.
I am honestly appalled by that specific phrasing. Choosing a drink with legs is the absolute peak of objectification.
Look, man.
No, let me finish. It completely dehumanizes the woman, strips away her identity, and reduces her to a consumable, disposable product. It's incredibly toxic.
You can be appalled all you want from your comfortable air-conditioned studio, but I am reminding you that this is purely a transactional business environment. You think she isn't objectifying him.
That doesn't make it right.
She views him as a literal walking ATM. She doesn't care about his dreams. She cares about the PIN code. If you try to humanize the interaction with soft dating app small talk, she will instantly exploit that deep-seated desire for connection to drain your wallet.
But treating her like a beverage.
The phrase is harsh because the reality of the environment is harsh. You have to accept the terms of engagement.
Fine, I disagree with the morality of it, but I understand the tactical necessity within that specific ecosystem. Let's move to step 5.
Step 5. Switch bars often.
Keep moving.
If the vibe is bad, if the girls are giving you attitude, if the mama-san is too pushy with the drink menu, or if the girl you paid for is endlessly scrolling on her phone, you get up and leave. Immediately.
No sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. You are the paying client. You are not her therapist. You are not her savior. And you are sure as hell not her boyfriend. Do not sit there trying to fix a bad interaction.
This is the ultimate application of the power you mentioned at the very beginning. The only true, undeniable power the consumer has in a rigged market is the power to walk away and take his capital elsewhere.
Exactly. There are literally thousands of bars in Pattaya. Do not get emotionally anchored to one bad stool or one sour interaction.
Makes total sense.
And finally, we arrive at the most important step of all, the absolute linchpin of survival. Step 6, emotional detachment.
Here we go. The detachment.
Absolutely no feelings, no future plans, no making promises to take her away from it all, no picking favorites until you have cycled through the numbers, visited multiple venues, and truly understand how the game is played.
Basically, turn off your heart.
You have to play cold and you have to play clean. If a girl gives you attitude or tries to manipulate you, you smile, stand up, and go to the next one. It is a numbers game, a financial transaction, not a fairy tale.
Emotional detachment seems to be the ultimate armor here. The moment a man allows his natural emotions to dictate his actions, the moment he feels a spark of genuine affection or protective instinct, he falls right back into the illusion.
100%.
He starts applying Western dating logic, and he instantly becomes the prey again.
Bingo. Mastering this kind of cold, calculated frame control is incredibly difficult. It goes against all our biological programming to seek connection and to want to be loved.
Which is why so many men fail.
But it is exactly what you must do to survive and thrive. And by the way, learning how to build that kind of impenetrable emotional armor, how to detach your ego from the outcome, is exactly what they teach over at seductionvault.com.
The final plug, nice.
Hey, it's the ultimate destination to bulletproof your dating psychology. Whether you are navigating a neon-lit bar in Asia, trying to hold your own in a high-end club in London, or just dealing with the manipulative games on modern dating apps, you need this foundation.
It's universally applicable skills.
Exactly. If you want to stop being a victim of your own emotions and actually take control, go to Seduction Vault.
So, synthesizing everything we've discussed from this expat guide today, the overarching theme is the necessity of a radical recontextualization of the environment.
A paradigm shift.
Exactly. The man must completely stop viewing the bar as a social space for organic courtship and forcefully start viewing it as a highly optimized retail space where he is simultaneously the consumer and the prime target demographic.
This is business, not romance. That is the final, inescapable summary of this entire deep dive.
Business, not romance.
If you walk into Pattaya and you treat it like a fairy tale, you are going to get taxed heavily. You will get taxed emotionally, leaving you drained and cynical. You will get taxed financially, leaving your bank account empty.
And physically, you mentioned.
Yeah, if you cause enough drama by arrogantly ignoring the complex rules of face, you might even get taxed physically by the bouncers. You absolutely cannot outcharm the Pattaya game.
The game always wins if you play by its rules.
You cannot smile, joke, or romance your way out of the hustle. You have to outsmart it by knowing the brutal rules better than the people trying to play you.
I suppose I have to concede that in this very specific, highly engineered ecosystem, my standard Western dating logic, the idealistic notion of mutual connection, organic attraction, and the sheer power of a good conversation is entirely defunct.
Finally.
It is a completely different paradigm that operates on a totally different set of human motivations.
I am so glad you finally admitted it. Your Western dating logic is officially declared dead on arrival the literal second your foot hits the pavement on Walking Street.
Okay, you don't have to gloat.
It is a beautiful fantasy, but it is a fantasy that gets men slaughtered in the real world.
However, I do think understanding this extreme, almost caricatured example of transactional dating helps clarify the hidden mechanics of attraction and transaction in general. It acts as a magnifying glass for human behavior.
And that brings me to a final provocative thought for the listener. I want you to chew on this long after this audio ends.
What's the thought?
We have spent this entire time dissecting the artificial, highly transactional nature of the bar girl power game in Southeast Asia. It seems so obvious, so blatant once you know the rules, right?
Very obvious.
The fake smiles, the strategic, calculated jealousy, the ruthless extraction of resources disguised as affection. It is incredibly easy to point at Pattaya and say, look at that brutal foreign hustle.
Because it's out in the open.
But ask yourself this.
What?
How many of these exact same transactional dynamics, the evaluation of your shoes, the checking of your wallet, the strategic use of jealousy, the trading of access for resources,
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
are quietly, subtly playing out in the respectable, normal Western dating world right under your nose without you even realizing it?
That is a very dangerous, uncomfortable question to ask.
Exactly. Keep your eyes open.